All right, Turtle fans, we have a new show coming out called Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's continuing right where Mutant Mayhem left off, and it's premiering this August. And before that, we're going to get a ton of new products, of course. Just like we did with Mutant Mayhem, we have some more great releases from Playmates, and they're definitely getting us excited about the show with a whole new line they have out called the Mutations line, Mix and Match. And if you think back, some of you might not be able to, but back to the 90s, there were a lot of characters that you could break apart and put together. There was a mixture of monsters and athletes and whatnot, and there was a great line of assembling characters. And this is very similar to that. You're able to take apart your turtles and mix them and match them with any other turtle characters that you get. And this is just the first wave of what we expect to be many, as we have shown you in previous press releases. So let's take a quick look at who we got in this first wave, and obviously it's the turtles. But I want you to take a look at the packaging here. So as you can see from the packaging, you're going to get the turtle release that is going to look like their cartoon counterpart, which is essentially the same thing as their animation counterpart that we saw in Mutant Mayhem. And they're going to have a bunch of accessories along with the figure. But here's the really great part. You're going to get additional accessories and parts. So you don't have to buy every single character to be able to mix your character up. You can do it right off the bat, which is really nice. On the back, you could also see that the next wave here is going to feature Splinter, Bishop and Mech, Metalhead, which everyone's kind of looking forward to seeing what Metalhead looks like in his animation form, and Mechazoid. So with this first set of characters, you're getting parts of all those characters here. Now you cannot build those characters across these four. You're not going to get a full torso and arms and all that, so you can't do it. You get the left arm here for Splinter, and I think in this one you're getting, let's see, Metalhead's head and the left arm of, which looks like Mechazoid. So you're going to get a whole mixture of different parts of different characters. So you can do that right away and mix them up. But if you want to completely mix them up in different torsos, you're going to have to buy those respective characters. But I still think it's really great that they gave you some parts already, because usually those older waves of figures, and forgive me, I can't remember who used to make those mix and match characters 30 years ago, but you would have to get at least two of them to start mix and matching. And they would be sold in 2-packs often, but this one gives you parts. I mean, this one comes with Splinter's head. So right away, you could put Splinter's head on Raphael and mix him up here with, looks like, what is this, Metalhead's leg. So right away, you can already mix this character up. Or if you bought 2 of them, you got a lot more possibilities. 4, you're going nuts at that point. Tons of permutations, not to mention that there's 8. So why don't we, you guys just want to see what these look like up close and start playing with them. So why don't you come on in and we'll open up these characters. All right, so I'm going to open one of these here. Just relax, just one. I'm not going to open all of them and take all that time here. So we can show you guys these and still not take up a ton of your time. I know you're eager to see them, but not eager to watch unboxing. I'm not a huge fan of unboxing. It takes a lot of time, and it's just plastic and cardboard. So I like to do this little cut along the 90-degree angle here, so it cleanly gets your item off the card. And then here we have our Leo. Got to always start with Leo. He is the leader, leading the way here. So you can see he's going to come with, of course, himself. He's going to have that head here from, I believe this is going to be Metalhead's head, and it looks like Splinter's right arm. And he has his katana sword. And he has a second sword here, a little odd looking. I think it's just a color difference here, or maybe it's a trick of the light. And then on this side, he's really held in there. Look at that. He's got it strapped in by his arms. Interesting. And a little waist belt. On this side, he's going to have a mixture of accessories. There's that pizza knife, as I call it. He's going to have a bunch of throwing stars. He's going to have this weird, I don't know what this is, but this has been like ever since the original Playmates. That's been one of the weapons that they include with the turtles. I just didn't understand that. So we have our Leo here. Let's get him out. Oh, and there goes a leg already. So they come off pretty easy. So not difficult to take these guys apart as we find that he is secured in here. So I'm going to use my sprue cutter. It's always great to pull things out here. I'm going to get that leg back on him just so he could stand up. So we have our Leo here. And we have our parts. So I'm going to grab a couple of these out. Now you just get the 2 parts. You're going to get the Metalhead head, and you're going to have the Splinter arm. And then, of course, we have his iconic weapons here. for Leonardo. Now, Leonardo still looks like he functions like a regular turtle here, where the two of them slide in. He does look a little different than his standard release counterpart. The coloring is a little different, the shape is a little different, and I'll bring them in at the end of the video so you guys can see compared to the standard release counterparts as well. But he still has those, and then he has these little spikes on the shell. This was not part of the original release, so they added this in there. I think it's great because then it lets you hold a whole bunch of weapons on there, and you could put some of those shuriken, those throwing stars, on there as well and add them to his belt. So nice that they added this little system of holding weapons, but let's test mixing them up a little bit here and see what happens. So the arm, I noticed, still has some articulation to it. It doesn't look like the wrist moves at all. It doesn't look like the elbow bends. It just basically has the articulation here at the shoulder joint. Same with the head and same with the leg. No bending, none of that. So it's a very simplified version, although there are peg holes at the bottom. He seems to stand relatively well once you find that center of gravity. So no qualms there. But let's test out this system where you're meant to pop them off. Now immediately I can feel it's got a little rubberized texture to it. You can see that give there when I squeeze it. So that's really interesting. It makes it easy for popping things on and off without having to worry about them breaking. So now he has a splinter arm, and we'll pop off that head, and he's got that metal head, or metal head. So there he is. We have our Leo a little mixed up. And then these accessories should still fit into the other hands. I love this rubberized sort of texture to the hands because then it makes it really easy to get those grips onto these weapons. Now, like I said, they aren't going to bend at the joints, so you have sort of limited mobility with them. But he has his weapons here, and he's holding them, and it hasn't thrown off his center of gravity too much. I got something with his leg here. Here we go. Well, I guess it has a little bit. It's making him teeter forward, but now I got him. He's good. Okay, so that was Leo. Basically, that's how they're going to function once you get the parts on. So they have that little measure of give to them to allow them to be able to get the weapons in and to switch things out. We'll bring you over here to Raphael. So Raphael, there goes his throwing star immediately. He has a bunch of different parts here. This is interesting. This looks like a one of those retractable batons, essentially here. He's got some brass knuckles. He has the throwing star. He has his sai, which looked really different from the standard release sai that came in the first Mutant Mayhem version of Raphael. He has a leg over here that is secured in with some of these little plastic tabs. So we'll just grab those out. And this looks like Metalhead's leg. And then he has Splinter's head, which is really detailed. It's got those glasses on there. Really nice looking head for Splinter. And I think that mimics sort of the general release of Splinter as well. Raphael is held in with some bands on both his wrists and his waist. So I missed the wrist ones. I tried to speed this up, so I wouldn't spend too much time opening. But here we have our Raphael. Looks a little different than his general release as well. A little less detailed, particularly on the shell. Same articulation that we saw with Leo there. This time we're going to see the sai fit into the back here. And I thought this was interesting for the character because we always saw them on the front of the waistband with the other movies and with some of the mediums. So he also has this system where he has these holes here so you could put the weapons on his belt. I like this system. It's very reminiscent of the last Ronin and his sort of like style with all the weapons on the belt. So I like that a lot, actually. I don't see any way to hold these, so you're just gonna kind of have to put them in his hand. And it's fun because Raphael's he's the bruiser. He's about getting in there, being the melee character. So it makes kind of sense here. Let's see what these sai look like in his hands. And they're easy to pop in there with this little rubberized sort of skin aspect to it. I kind of like that rubber feel. It reminds me of the original Playmates release of the movie line Turtles that had a rubberized texture, and the modern version that came out does not. It has all the right look, not all the right accessories. It doesn't have the same accessories, but it doesn't have that rubberized turtle feel that they had. He also has this little piece of armor and these bands. So I'm wondering if this is more of a style change that we're going to see in the show that was not from the movie. And you can see he also has these aspects here on his chest, so he could display little weapons and other accessories all over him like a bandolier. So that's kind of a cool little design function to him. So he has the Splinter head, so we can mix that up. And we could give him the leg from Metalhead here. And you see how easy these are coming out? Like, that is a really fun system. Now, here's the real trick. Like, you're really going to have to angle him because the leg is a different height and there's no bend in the knee. So that's kind of a disadvantage there. So now he's starting to look like some kind of a zombie. And, you know, you could switch out his left hand here for Leo's left hand, and that would really just give you a slightly trimmer left hand with a blue band on it. Not much difference there. And the leg is eerily similar. It just has a different... as you can see, a different like knee pad on there. So not too much difference there. I think the more drastic changes will happen when you're switching in characters like Splinter and the robots with the turtles, than from turtle to turtle. But that is Raphael there with his gear, and we saw Leonardo. So let's check out next. We'll go over to Donnie. Donnie here. I love how he has the most machine parts. He doesn't have any biologic parts here. And the reason I love that is because if you remember that amazing theme song, Donatello does machines. So they gave him the machine parts. So that makes sense. So he has, this looks like the same metalhead for Donnie. I wish they would have went with one of the other heads. That's kind of a shame. But I guess Bishop doesn't have a head. It looks like it's part of his body, as you saw from that first screen we showed you there. So no option there. Here's his bow. And he has what looks like a, I don't know, a pipe bow that is also an accessory here for Donnie. He's got different shaped throwing stars, which is fun here. Those are in plastic. I won't worry about those. The earphones were kind of fun. When I did the original turtle video for the Mutant Mayhem figures, I didn't notice the earphones in there. I forgot about them, and they kind of were a part of his sort of personality in the movie, and they slipped over the head. So I kind of missed out on that when I was doing the video, and I regret that because I didn't have a complete look at Donnie at the time. Let's get his leg back on him here. But the earphones just kind of slipped around the neck like this. And I guess it's easier to do it if you take the head off. But they kind of just slipped around there. So it's fun that you could add that back to it. He's got his bow. The bow could fit in the holster there, or the bow can go in the hands. And they had that great rubberized texture still, so it's easy to get that bow in there. I think it's going to be a little tricky to do two hands since he doesn't have a huge range of motion here with the hands and the articulation. I think that's the best you're going to get on that with the hands. So let's try the pipe bow as well. I think you get a very similar sort of display with him with the pipe bow. It's just a little harder to grip it because of the hand system here. So this one has a hole in it. It would be kind of weird to put that on your belt. I mean, it almost sticks up like an antenna at that point. I can't imagine how else you would display that. So interesting they went with that. He has the least amount of accessories out of the group. He could put those throwing stars on in his back, but I mean, he came with the earphones, and that really made up his accessory style there. He has his fanny pouch, of course. That's really important for Donnie to have that fanny pouch like he had in the movie. And we look at his parts here. We could pop off his head. We could give him the metal head, which is easier to put those headphones around, honestly, than the Donnie head. Although the head is a little blockier. So I guess it's not that much easier. So we had the metal head, and we could replace his left arm with the metal arm. So giving him this sort of look, and that still works with his bow. So not too bad there for Donnie. Yeah, so this is the example I was talking about. Now with the robot arms, I could take a robot arm here. I could take the arm from Splinter. I could take a metal robot leg and then really mix these guys up. So we'll have fun in just a minute. Let's just check out one more of them, and then we'll do a really nice mash of these characters together. So the last one, I always save for last, is Michelangelo, because he's the party dude. He's going to close it out and help us party here. He's got this very distinct look to him as well. Let's see. He is stuck in there. No tabs around his arms for some reason. Like everyone else needed tabs around their arms to hold them in place. This guy, not the case. He has his nunchaku that fit really nicely onto his belt. I'll pop those in there so you could see. But you can see the nunchaku sitting on the back there with that chain we always seen him go back and forth, chain to rope. I think the first release was kind of meant to be a rope on the figure when it came out. Was it 86? I'm trying to remember when the original line came out. Yeah, this is chain. He's going to come with parts that look like, this one looks like it belongs to Bishop and Mech here, and then the head belongs to Mechazoid. Yeah, so that's the mix here. I think Donnie has an arm from, it looks like Mechazoid. We don't have any arms from Metalhead. So the other accessory we see Michelangelo come with is this mace. That's an odd one for him, but it's got a little hole in it for mounting on his belt. And then he has these oddly shaped throwing stars. So he could pop this on his belt. He could pop this mace on his belt as well. We'll put this on the side here. And then just have that displayed like that. And then, of course, he could do the nunchaku. Now he could do that two-handed. He could do it one-handed. However you want to do it. I think that's an interesting dynamic. I'm not sure why these grooves in his shell. These are really deep. I didn't see those on any of the other turtles. Oh no, there is. There's the same grooves on all the turtles. Interesting. I don't think the bodies separate or anything like that. So that would be insane. It's just the arms and the legs and the head. So it'd be kind of weird for that. So this one I think is a right leg, so I'm going to try subbing that out. So in your basic package, when you buy them, you're going to be able to do this, mix them up to this extent. So you don't have to buy any other turtles or any other robots in order to do this. You could get this level of swapping from just having one by itself, which is pretty nice, considering you don't have to spend a whole lot just to start swapping out the turtle and having fun with it. And yeah, I don't think you're able to mix and match them with any other systems. You need sort of just these parts for these turtles. But like I said, if you bought all four right off the bat, you could really start to get some interesting combinations. So what does that mean? Well, let's take Donnie's arm that had the robot there and give it to Michelangelo. So now I have a robot left arm. I could take Raph's left leg. He has, I think this was Metalhead's leg. And I could put it on Mikey's left leg here. And now I have two mixed matched robot legs. I have a right arm from a robot. I have a head from a robot. And now I'm going to take the right arm from Splinter that came with Leonardo and put him here. And now I have a completely jumbled character, which is really cool. I have a robot arm from Metalhead, or I'm sorry, a robot arm from Mechazoid. I have a Splinter arm from Splinter here. I have one leg from Metalhead, another leg from Bishop and Mech, and then the head here from Metalzoid, and then the body from Michelangelo. So this is essentially what Mix and Match is about. It's about making these really interesting combination, and then they have these system with these little belt or holsters, essentially, that are mounted on their waist or on their chest. So I could put parts on there from Leonardo. I could put parts on there from Donatello, and I could kit out and make my own like really interesting combination turtle that is holding a whole bunch of weapons and is also mixed up with a whole bunch of parts. So very interesting and fun. And this is just with four. Imagine having all 8. I mean, you can get some really crazy permutations going that way. But this is essentially what you're looking at in this line. Some really fun, some really easy, and I see some durable ways of changing characters. That rubberized system to me says it's not going to crack or break. And what you usually need to worry about in changing out parts is the joint. Over time that this will wear, the parts won't go on anymore or it will snap. But since these are rubber, I don't feel like it's going to wear. I think it's going to, you know, if it starts to get a little loose, you just put it in the freezer for a little bit. It'll harden up and it'll resume that grip. I do that all the time with parts after they wear after a while if they're rubber. Seals and whatnot, you just need to get them in the freezer, get them cold again, and they'll resume that grip. So I think that these will be durable. These will last you a long time. And they're easy to change. They pop on and off. You really don't need to struggle with this. You could get absolutely nuts if you want to put a leg on the arm instead. You could do that. I think it might be a little harder to put a head there. I'll give it a shot. Let's get Michelangelo's head on Raphael's thigh. Yep, we got it going. So you could definitely do a lot of really weird things with these, which is, I think, interesting and fun. You're just kind of constrained by your imagination. But the system is really easy to use, which I appreciate because we've shown you some really difficult arm and head changing systems. This one works great, it's reliable, and I think that rubberized composition of these parts really helps you achieve that. So, kudos to Playmates for engineering this toy very well. And I think you'll enjoy it if you're a fan of turtles. If you're looking forward to Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this is going to get you excited, and I think these are just perfect. So these are hitting shelves, I think, nowish or very, very soon. So look for them, and then the second wave should be coming out very soon afterward as well. So why don't I grab a turtle from the general release of the Mutant Mayhem line, just so you can see how they compare. Okay, I said I'd give you one. Well, I'm going to give you all of them. So why don't we just take a look at these turtles one at a time. Here is Michelangelo from Tales from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and his mix and match set. And here's Michelangelo from the film, from Mutant Mayhem. So you can see the big differences being the colored accessory is a little larger, head is a little more pronounced. He's got articulation in the legs, and his knees bend, and his feet move. I mean, but you can see the design's a little different. I mean, even just look at the eyes are a little different. Everything's just a little bit different when we look at the characters here. Same with Donnie. You're going to see his pouch is a little bigger. The character is a little bit, just the design is just a little different. The wrappings on the legs here. So maybe some things have changed when we went from the movie to the series. But I think it's also the fact that these are a different kind of character, that these are the mix and match ones. So the armor is the big thing that I pointed out that was different in the Turtles here. Raphael is actually a little bit taller than his general counterpart release from the movie to the series here. So a little different for Raphael. And then last but not least, we have Leonardo here. And then we have Leonardo from his general release and Leonardo in this new version. Now that he has this armor on here, he's a little bit more kitted out. He's a little taller, I think, as well. So that seems to be the big difference between these turtles, but generally very similar in design. But they look a little bit more animated, I want to say, too, in this newer version. So we're getting into the show, vice the series. So just wanted to give you a quick look at what the differences are between the characters. Well, thank you for joining us for this quick look at the Mix and Match Mutation series based on the Tales from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles upcoming show that should be premiering in August on, I believe, Paramount+. So there's definitely going to be lots to see from this line. The first wave featuring the Turtles, the second wave, Splinter, and a bunch of the robots. But you don't need to get that, or get more than one to start mixing these up. As we showed you with each character, they're coming with an assortment of heads and arms and legs and whatnot. So just buying the 4, you have a whole bunch of combinations to mix with them. And it's not just the body parts, but you could put the weapons on them as well, because they have this belt system where you can see I have each turtle fully kitted out here. All the weapons they have could fit on their persons, and you can mix and match them between the different belts as well, because it's just that little pressure fitting system where it's just the hole and the peg. So easy to mix and match. They all have individual sai, I kind of like, or the throwing stars, I kind of like that too. It's a little fun touch. But it's a great system, just like the shell turtles, where you could fit all the weapons inside the shell, which I love being able to do that. You could do that here as well. You could fit all their weapons on their persons. So pretty cool. These should be in stores very soon, if not right now. So look for them and look for the second wave soon as well. Of course, we're going to be bringing you more Turtles news. If you might have noticed that there's more upcoming releases in the Classics line from Playmates as well. We're going to be getting the Casey Jones finally. We're going to be getting the Rat King. And there's one other one. I forgot what the release is. It's Mutagen Man. So he's getting a release again. I think a couple years ago he was released in a exclusive, I think it was to Amazon maybe. So he's getting release in the proper classic packaging now instead of the packaging he had, which was maybe from the Adventures line or something. So he'll be packaged in that classic packaging along with those other ones. I think that's later in the year though. It got pushed a few months. I think it was originally slated for this spring. So maybe it'll hit stores sooner, not sure. Who knows with the way retail's working lately, so look for those. And of course, the Sketch Turtles. I know we're very, very excited about the Sketch Turtles celebrating the 40th anniversary of the original Turtles line from the comics. So those should be hitting Target soon. That's a Target exclusive, mid to late June. The moment we have those, we're going to show them. We're very, very excited about that. It's a four-piece set that all combine the bases, so you have this great little dynamic display as well. So we'll be looking for those. So of course, we're going to have more Turtles news. We're not done with Turtles. It's the 40th anniversary year, so we're going to have more going throughout the year. We'll have more products from Tales from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's one other thing we want to show you guys as well. We'll save that for a future time. We want to try to keep this as short as possible, and we have multiple characters. It does take up more time. So that is all for this time. Come back for more new products we'll be showing you, vintage products. I'm finally getting around to doing some really great vintage toy lines as well, and a mixture of our other segments such as Then and Now and the Movie Madness. So come back for a lot as we gear up and head out to a bunch of cons. It's convention season. We're going to be starting off with Rebel Scum Con this month. Head over to our sister site, rebelscum.com. It's on our website. There's a link to rebelscum.com. Check out all the news about the convention, who's going to be there, what you can expect, and then we'll be heading to Comic-Con in July as well. So, as always, like, subscribe, and follow. We'll see you guys next time.